Bluetooth connected.
Best Leona. How are you doing? Duvan LeBoy, hello. Crow Bagnon, what's up? Montoya, what's up? Yeah, this is just me again doing that same thing where I'm taking a very, very old drawing and kind of just light boxing it to kind of redraw it. I kind of don't mind the basic drawing. This one's another one that's maybe 15 years old or something like that. I was really, really trying to do a very clean, slick kind of, it may not look like it, but like an Adam Hughes type drawing. But I don't like the ink finish that I did on it exactly. So again, this is me wanting to just repencil it and see what I can kind of come up with. If I can, do something I like a little bit better. I don't know what's one of the hardest patterns to get down right is this goddamn Superman shield symbol. To me, it has to look a specific way to look right. And that pattern, if you don't get it right, you can really make it look terrible. I've never been able to commit it to memory. It's like, I think I know it. And then you sit down, you try and draw it, and you're like, nope, I don't know it. What about the Supergirl flick controversy? I'm I've kind of got this um, way of thinking now where I'm like, I'm just not going to judge a thing until I actually see the movie. The trailer doesn't get me excited. It looks okay, but it just looks okay. I'm not thrilled with it. I just think once again they're just going the wrong direction. I did not care for the new Superman movie. Like it was fine. It was fine. That's it. I watched it once and I'm like, no, I'll probably never watch that again. And the Supergirl, I mean, I don't know. I may not watch it at all. Hey, Addie, how are you doing? Hope you're doing all right, Missy. Who knows? Maybe the Supergirl movie will turn out to be great. I've never heard of the actress before, so I don't know anything about her. You got an A on every single midterm? Well, you're a smart girl, that's for damn sure. I've never had straight A's on anything. I mean, I did fine. I was okay in school, but I never ever had straight A's. I got close. Cro-Magnon, I do not watch Game of Thrones. I heard about the excitement. I borrowed, I think DVDs or something like that from one of my brothers, and I watched the entirety of season one, all of it, and I just did not get it. I did not get the appeal. It was like it was fine. Like that was fine, but there was nothing going on that made me want to stay and keep watching. Like I was like, yeah, maybe at some point I'll pick it up and keep going. And so yeah, I understand that the actress was in that show somewhere for the Supergirl actress, but as far as Game of Thrones, I'm just like, I don't care. Wasn't that good? And people are like, well, it gets better. I'm like, well, maybe, but I gave it an entire first season, and it didn't keep my interest. So why would I give it another season if I don't give a shit after however many episodes of season one? And plus, so many things have been spoiled. So I don't care. My talent makes up for it. Well, thanks, Addie. It's kind of the only thing I got going for me.
All right, box just arrived. And honestly, I've been waiting for this one. This is the Seaside V8 engine model. Oh,
Yeah, Montoya, I was into The Walking Dead. Um, I followed it for the first several seasons, but as is the case with many things in my life at that time, my marriage falling apart and the impending divorce kind of squashed the watching of that just because I was just in survival mode. And so I lost track. And I kind of want to get back to it, but I'm going to have to start from the beginning and just kind of watch it again. Because The Walking Dead has my attention. Although it seems to be, people seem to say that they didn't end it very well. It didn't have a satisfying conclusion, which kind of makes me like, ugh, do I want to disappoint myself by watching it? That's another one I was reading. I was following the comic. I think I ended somewhere roundabout where the group. I think they found a because they ran into the where Negan was, and then they moved on from that, and they found some other place with some other character. I think they called him Jesus, guy with long hair and a beard. And that's my last kind of memory of where those characters ended up in the comic. And I think what was going on is that my brother was collecting The Walking Dead, and then I think he got done with it, and so he stopped collecting it, and so I stopped being able to read it. You got to stop relying on people for stuff. Todd, what's up? Sheldon, what's up? It's the crew. Now, if only I could get Jessica to live stream with me again. You're tempted to rewatch the Netflix Warrior. I didn't even know there was a Netflix Warrior Nun. Latik, hey man, what's up? There is the man who hooked me up with that Vicious Circle comic by Lee Bermejo that I talked about. That was a hell of a read once I finally got to it and got a chance to sit down and experience it. Good Lord. It was nothing like I was expecting. Although I guess I don't know what I was expecting, you know? I know, Todd. I'm growing up. I'm getting to be a big boy artist. Addie, yeah, it's only a couple days till Christmas. I actually did a little shopping today and found a couple things for the few people I'm getting anything for. I think I've got my Christmas shopping done. Yeah, it was a fun book, Latik, man. I really appreciate it. That had things going on in it I've never seen. Like I was saying, that thing just lends itself to being like, if done right, like a movie. Not that everything needs to be turned into a movie. I'm not suggesting that, but done right, that thing could be a hell of a flick. Sheldon, you finished the first Master's End book. Well, thank you. You feel like the storytelling was getting smoother. I mean, and again, it was drawn so long ago. Um, like anybody, I'm kind of finding my way. And, the first chapter, it was just all big, crazy action scenes because of the severity of the situation and all that. And then, of course, chapter 2 is drawn by my brother. And chapter 3, I was kind of wrapping up. What's crazy is that chapter 3 was gonna be the end of it. Like that first book was supposed to be the entirety of the story, but I just kept coming up with story ideas. I'm like, I gotta keep going. I mean, I don't have to, but I'm gonna. Thanks for stopping in, Addie. I appreciate it. Yeah, Latik, very cinematic approach to comics, especially those that like the double splash where the two guys shot each other in the face, blew their faces apart, but then they go into the time vortex and then they heal back up. Man, that was wild. Also, I got your the other package, Latik. I got the Darkness #1 and those other books. So thank you for that. Hey, I also got Youngblood #3 today in the mail, like Liefeld's new book. I know issue 2 just come out, but he releases God damn. He releases them early on his website, and I ordered it not too long ago. I actually wasn't expecting it this early, but yeah, I've got Youngblood number 3. And by God, it's just more of the same. Yeah, Sheldon. So the first chapter and second chapters were a bit jarring for you being a fan. Yes, and that is something that I have heard several people say. They're like, one, you're killing characters, um, and you're killing characters I like, and why do we have to take this story and make it so dark? I get it, but I just wanted to show, like, this is the equivalent of like the Transformers animated movie for He-Man. Like, characters change, people die, and we move these characters into the future after these horrific events. Cro-Magnon, I get it for the channel. It's content and people like it, and so do I. And so one guy not buying his book on principle, like me, it's not going to change the insane sales he's had. So I'm just going to, you know, keep making content for my channel based on his craziness. Montoya, are you talking about the He-Man shows on Netflix? Um, I assume that's what you're talking about. I did. I thought they really screwed up on season 1. They really, really, really did something stupid by taking, here's a concept that people love. We're going to bring it back. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to kill the hero of the story and then put his girlfriend in charge, which by itself is fine. But they made Tila such an unlikable bitch. Like, I don't care if they put her in charge, that's fine, but make her likable. But she was insufferable. But the worst thing that they did is they killed He-Man. And this is when we're bringing the character back. They should have had a full season of us getting to see He-Man be awesome and be the hero and be an ass kicker and like let us enjoy this legacy character for once. And then in season 2, then I would say, now you can do some wild thing where you like maybe you kill off the character or at least we perceive him to be killed off. But not in season 1. So that was my problem with it. I thought I seem to remember liking season 2 better than season 1, but I can't remember a single thing from it really. I have no recollection of the stories. It's something about robotic takeovers and stuff like that in season 2. I don't know. It I feel like it was a wasted opportunity. It was okay. It wasn't a nightmare, but you know, I'm like, come on, guys. Somebody find my fan comic and let's make this into an animated thing. Be awesome. People would be into it, right? Maybe. Yeah, Cro-Magnon. I mean, I just basically got done saying, like, I like Kevin Smith. I know he's kind of put himself into this weird position of being controversial. Um, and that's fine. I don't care. I like him. I think he's a good human being. Um, blah blah blah. I think that they didn't do the right thing. Like I just got done saying, killing off He-Man in season 1 of the first season. Give us the damn character back. Let us watch him and enjoy him and like him. Nope. He's dead by the end of episode 1. AI untold Star Wars shorts. I don't know. I'm trying to avoid AI shit. Although I did just come across, I didn't know it was AI until I got done watching it. Somebody put together this short of, it was in Japanese, like a anime series of like Maximum Carnage, Spider-Man, Carnage, and Venom running around. And I'm like, it looked so perfect. It looked so good. You know, I'm like, this is going to be a problem because people are going to just type into a computer and it's going to generate shit that looks actually amazing. And then how can we discern what's what? No, I know. I just, it bugs me. I'm struggling with it. I'm sitting here like, I don't want to support a thing that would put me out of business, so to speak. Not that I'm in business, but how do we create art when people are just taking computers and making things that are more visually impressive than anything I'll ever create? So I'm just going to keep chugging along with it and making my own stuff, and hopefully you can just find a small market of people who are interested. But I'm also kind of just so burned out on Star Wars. Disney has screwed it over so bad. I understand that these things are probably miles ahead of the Disney crap, but and see, that's the thing, Todd, is I've actually thought of things like that. I'm like, this is an opportunity where I could see some of my characters and my ideas actually move and walk and talk that I would never ever get otherwise. So there's a real serious like um ethical debate. Plus, I don't know if any of you saw, Todd, if you saw this, if you follow that comic artist Andy Smith, he posted up using AI to take one of his drawings and turn it into an AI generated kind of three-dimensional thing, and he shared it. And man, industry pros were ripping him apart like big time, like shitting on him, like, yeah, well, you suck. And one of the guys, I can't remember who it was, but some very highly respected professional named Nick Bradshaw is who it was. He was saying how he was talking with some editors and how they were watching online for artists that use AI in anything. And like, they're not like, the comic industry is not going to let artists work for them that have used AI in the past. And people are like, yeah, this guy's just talking himself out of future work. And another guy's like, no one's ever wanted him to work for them anyway for years. So yeah, I think you're right there, Todd. I really do. And Cro-Magnon, come on, Rob, look at how long it takes you to ink an arm. Screw AI. Yeah. Sheldon, at the moment, maybe I'll change my mind, but I don't like watching AI. Yeah, but I gotta be. Another thought that I've had is with AI, and as good as it's getting to be to the point where you almost can't tell the difference, right? What if I had this crazy movie idea? It's something that I really wanted to see. It involved car crashes and gun shooting and jumping off mountains. I could never film that. I could never make it. So this idea will die in my head and never see the light of day. Now, yes, I could make a comic of it or something, but what if I wanted to make a movie of it? Just a short 20-minute thing. And I spent a lot of slow, meticulous time crafting it via AI or something like that to get it seen. Like, I kind of get that. Hey, Mr. Pritchard. Yeah, I don't know, Todd. It's conflicting for me. I agree. There's one thing I agree, and I think most of us we don't have to like it, but we have to. I think you're a person would be dumb to not acknowledge is that it's here and it's not going anywhere. And I don't like what that means for the future of artists who actually make things. And I really, 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 really can't fucking stand people who get online and call themselves an AI artist and get all these accolades and people are looking at their shit going, this is beautiful, this is amazing. And like, you didn't fucking make anything. You know, you typed some stuff into a computer. My 10-year-old son can do that. As opposed to a guy who sat down and crafted a comic and worked on it for years and come up with the story on his own and made it fresh, but it'll never be as visceral and impactful as somebody who types on a computer and has this big explosive awesome thing. Yeah, Eric, I mean I hope so. I think I do also believe that I think that there will eventually I think things will eventually kind of fall into kind of a natural equilibrium and human art will always be there and there'll always be an audience for it. um Yeah, but yeah, I get you, Sheldon. Might change your mind, but just not now. Yeah, everyone wants a shortcut. They don't want to put in the time and the effort. Eric, yeah, there will always be people to make art. Also, maybe not every idea should be made. I get that, but who am I to tell somebody they can't make some weird thing? Go make some weird, fucked up insanity. You know what? And I'm like, it just occurred to me the other day because I'm not a weirdo. This is the first time that I've thought of this. And I'm like, what is AI porn gonna look like? Like, what weird shit would people start coming up with? You know? And you're like, Rob, why are you thinking of porn? Well, I just keep seeing videos of realistic people doing stuff, and the train of thought leads, well, it could do this, it could do this. I'm like, oh my God, there's gonna be AI porn. I guess no one gets emotionally hurt filming it. It still fucks up people in the real world, but AI is going to hurt commercial artists the most. Yeah, that there you go. Because why would some studio or company want to pay an artist his fee of thousands of dollars or whatever? And they're just like, hey, just hire some nerd to go type it into a computer. Yep, Todd, your work definitely has the look of um, I could see it being easily confused for being traditional, which is what I prefer. If there's one thing that bugs me is when I see inking that looks so obviously super digital, like when an artist that does digital inking takes shortcuts because of the digital tools. Um, and it's that type of stuff bugs me because they're not trying to put in the work. You put in meticulous amounts of work. You're not taking shortcuts because you have digital. It's just the tool that you use. I remember back in the day, I was adamant against like Pixar and their fucking bullshit computer animated movies. I'm like, hand drawn animation. That's the only thing. But then it took me a while to understand that computers are just a tool to animate. And they can be just as amazing. It's just a different means of doing it. It's still an artist guiding it and creating it and controlling it. But I do feel like this AI thing is different than that because it doesn't really require any discipline to obtain it for the average schmuck sitting at home. I mean, you see what others did and you took the next step. Yes, none your business. That is a trans Superman. That is brilliant. Thank you for your brilliance right there. There, did that fix your tranny Supergirl?
All right, the box just arrived. And honestly, I've been waiting for this one. This is the Seaside V8 engine model kit, a fully functional 1 to 6 scale V8 engine. The moment you open it, you can feel
Darkomancer. You know what? I agree. The only way that a skirt on a female superhero would work is if she's wearing like tight pants on underneath, like
water cooling.
biker shorts. It doesn't have to be, you know, she doesn't have to have thong underwear on under it, though a lot of artists like to do that because I get it. Yeah, Liefeld will always have a good job though. Um, so thank the gods. Oh, what picture did you send me, Todd? I think I remember. No, no, I get it, Darko man. You're right though. It would blow up and it would not be practical. So they'd have to have things on under it. Oh, you talk about this cover for what Youngblood #5? The Anatomy. That is just like come on. It's just people just lose their minds over this. It's so ridiculous. I got Youngblood 3 in the mail today. Got it sitting right behind me. Yeah, Todd, you're 100% right. We're over here like doing our best. And Sheldon, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. But yeah, we're here begging for scraps and he's getting away with that. And you know what? I firmly, you know, feel that Liefeld wouldn't be successful if it wasn't for his 90s era success. If he were to show up today drawing the way he does, he would never get work. But it's just all the kids, like several of us, who grew up in that era loving it. And that was me. I was into his stuff. I still like his old stuff. But now we're old and a lot of us have disposable income and we want to kind of relive our childhood, especially in the wake of a lot of comic companies not making anything worth a damn. So, like, here's one of my favorite other artists doing the same book he did back when I was a kid, and it was amazing. Let's buy multiple copies. I sit here as I say that I have multiple copies myself, but I only get it because I've got a YouTube channel. Yeah, Todd, that's the thing. You gotta. I mean, if you could do it, if you gave an approach to it that was like an unbiased, like you're not sitting there saying AI is perfect. It is the way of the future. You could, if you kind of present it as here's the potential problem, but here's the potential solutions. Here's the upsides. That might be a way to get away with it without it being like an out and out um, advocation for it. Is that the right word? Yeah, if Liefeld was just a cab driver with a portfolio of his art as it is today, he wouldn't be able to get a job. Yeah, I believe it. Todd, like you can make your own comic and make it come to life and be animated. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, what if I could get on the computer and animate some scenes from my Masters and my He-Man fan comic and see it kind of in quote unquote real life? Like, part of me wants to see that. But I'm not going to do anything like that because with my burgeoning channel and the momentum I've got going, the last thing I'm going to do is be controversial in that respect. That's a big reason why I ask people to avoid discussion of politics. It's so divisive. Like, I don't want that here. I don't want, I've got my opinions for sure, but let's just leave all that difficult shit behind us and just sit here, enjoy some art, and have some fun and build each other up. Cro-Magnon, I have. It's on the channel. You're not going to find much. I think I did one video of Sam Keith's The Max, and I think I showed every book that I have, which is, or at least the first ones I could find. It might be the first four. I am not a fan of the Max comic. I am a fan of Sam Keith. I like him and I like his art. I did not like the comic. I have nothing to say about it. I tried reading it. It's a style and a vibe that was not made for me. I'm not saying it's bad. I don't like it. It doesn't work for me, so I don't like it. I've got nothing to say about it. Beyond the art's awesome. So I did one video on the Sam Keith Max stuff, but I understand that there's a deeper story going on, but that is for other people who read the content and understand it better than me because I sure don't. Post a video as a Star Trek Borg and say how great everything is in a monotone. That's funny. Eric. You like the Max in high school, but I did a lot of acid. So, yeah, see, I didn't understand any of it. But then I've got a good friend of mine who's a huge fan of it. And he started explaining to me what the book was kind of about and the deeper meaning behind a lot of this stuff. And I'm like, oh, I thought that Sam Keith was just out of his fucking mind, creating the weirdest shit for weird's sake. I didn't get it. I'll tell you something I really want, but I'll never be able to find is they did an artist edition of Sam Keith's the Max artwork, and as I understand it, they did a way low print run, and they go for super high dollar amounts on the aftermarket. Like I've seen people asking $600 for a copy of those things and getting it. So if you like Twin Peaks, you like the Max. There's another thing I don't like, or at least I've never watched because I didn't care. Um, Cro Magnon, we actually had this conversation on the channel not too long ago, and somebody was saying that he retired. And I was like, okay, that's fair, but that man is an artist. And as long as you're living and breathing and your eyes function and your hand works, why would you not just keep creating? And so I wonder if, I mean, somebody who's that good, I mean, is it possible, you think, to be an artist at his level and you reach a point later on in your life where you just fucking are done? Where you're just, yeah, see? Exactly. It's weird to retire from art. Like, do you think it's humanly possible to just be done? You're like, I don't want to draw another fucking thing ever. I can't imagine. Drawing is, it's what I am. It's who I am. And as long as I can, I will. I want to be 80 years old, sitting at a table, drooling, still drawing naked girls or whatever. But yeah, somebody said that Sam Keith retired. And I'm like, okay, good for him. Um, yeah, Mignola retired, but he still makes stuff, you know. And I hope that Sam Keith was able to, he was financially okay enough. You'd think he would after his Image Comics money and his animated series money. Like if he handled his finances okay, that he was able to retire comfortably. But you'd think he'd still draw. But there's no social media presence as far as I can tell. He's not doing anything. So I'm just like, oh, this sucks. You know, I just be nice if somebody could track him down and just go have I'd love to see an interview with the guy. Just talk to him about his life and his memories and his art and what he thinks about it. Eric, maybe he just doesn't sell anything anymore. He's just rich alone and draws for himself. He's weird enough to be that guy. I mean, that I get. I would just like to know, it's like, not that it's a requirement for an artist or creative who is in the public eye to give us anything, but it's like these artists, I feel like they were such a creative force in so many of our young lives that we're always thinking about them because we're always creating and we're always going back to the stuff that we loved. And like, where is this guy? What is he doing? And, maybe Sam Keith just wants to be left alone, which I respect, but it'd be nice if he just come out and say something, but he just kind of disappeared, it seems. The eyes in the hand get tired. I mean, I get it. Didn't I hear that Steve Ditko, didn't he vanish from the public eye and then just drew for himself for years until he died privately? Does that sound like a correct story to anybody? Like, if that's true and he was just drawing stuff for years, um, what a crazy treasure trove that would be to be able to like see all that stuff he just made for himself. Sheldon, a quick look at the interweb says, according to Kelly Jones, Sam does not enjoy pro drawing conventions or discussion on comics. That sucks. Ditko died a poor man. That's unfortunate. That man should have had some cash in his pockets from Marvel, considering his contributions and his work on Spider-Man. Ditko had a sad, strange story. Yeah, I know so little. I know so little about him. Um, And I didn't get introduced to his work in any way when I was younger that uh, endeared him to me when I was younger, because I'd heard the name and it was revered by everybody. I'm like, okay. But then I got some Marvel annual book, and in the back was a short story with Squirrel Girl, where she meets up with Iron Man and tries to convince Iron Man to let her join the Avengers, and they end up fighting Doctor Doom. And I thought it was some of the ugliest, stupidest, cheapest, most crap art I've ever seen in my life. And I'm going, what the fuck is the appeal of this Steve Ditko guy? You know? Um, like I did not get it. And then I found out because I did a video on it, and my buddy Chuck Gibson, he hit me up privately. He's like, "You just had the unfortunate timing of catching some of his later, significantly lesser work." And he kind of pointed me towards, "Go look at this and this and this and this, and you'll see why Ditko is revered." And I get it now. But at the time, that goddamn backup story with Squirrel Girl, one, is the dumbest character I'd ever heard of at the time, and it was the worst art I'd ever seen. I'm like, why is this so revered? What did I not get? Dude had some social and professional issues that would clash with this strong moral code he had. It was really intense, apparently. Interesting. Oh, Todd. If Liefeld can do the shit he does, I can do the shit I do. I should have her hair blowing completely this direction and have her cape going that direction and really confuse people. I mean, you're not wrong. Yeah, Ditko stood on principle too much. He was rigid. Well, you will not let me Liefeld my work. Yeah, look at Youngblood #3. Let's bust this shit out. There's Shaft standing there, covered in blood. What does this have to do with the comic? Nothing. It's just Shaft standing there. But like this comic is called Youngblood, but it's not about Youngblood. It's just a jerk off fest where every character that Liefeld's ever created shows up at some point. There's Cougar and Photon and Combat and some new girl named Sundance and giant Jack Kirby celestial beings. Todd, you spend too much time sitting here watching you do yours and ignoring my own to let you do that. You're right. And look, here's a group of heroes in the water staring at a giant toilet bowl. Jesus. Badrock's pissed. The bad guy, he's pissed. You wanted Shaft to be cool so bad. Yeah, it's hard to um yeah, sorry, I'm getting yeah, I wanted them all to be cool. According to whatever Steve Ditko's net worth was 1.3 million when he passed. A whole book of talking heads with gritted teeth or open capped shocked faces. Strife, but gold, it is. And so then you get um Namor girl. She shows up and she flexes and then she punches and she screams and then she punches and then she gets punched and she grits her teeth and then the other guy grits teeth and then Bad Rock becomes Rock Jesus and he can walk on water. he says yabba dabba doom, and then he punches, and then they punch and they fall and they grit teeth. No, that's Namorita, except her name is Coral. Because he had his own version of the Atlantean people, except instead of Atlantis, it's called Newport. And instead of Namor, it's Ronan, which is just Namor backwards. And this girl's name is Coral. It might sound like a joke, but that is legitimately the truth. I sold you on water, Jesus. Shaft crawled so Hawkstab could run. Sheldon, that is. Have you told that to Mitch? That is brilliant. But thank you, Sheldon. Thank you so much for that. Look, baby Chapel. He showed up and he's angry and he's looking straight at you, but he's shooting at the fucking floor. Because he's a fucking idiot jack off and he's just shooting at the floor. And then they grab at each other and they flex and they grunt and they look at these expansive background details. It's amazing. And they grit their teeth. And then I guess there's just a hole in the wall and Die Hard comes back. Where was he? Who knows? He was up in space or something. I don't fucking know. This is Chapel's son. That's why I was saying baby Chapel, because this is his son. Chapel did blow his head off to go to hell to become a spawn. So that is true. And Chapel didn't die of AIDS. He might have had it, but he didn't die of it. He shot his own head off to become a spawn. And so, yeah, Die Hard shows up, and then they punch, and then they kick, and there's a side panel, and then they float. They're just up in space suddenly. And bad guy rips Die Hard's arm off. And then Namor comes up from below and punches and screams and talks, and they punch Golden Guy down. Stupid Badrock picks him up, and then he gets punched, and they get punched again. And then Cable's there, and they go through a portal, and they shoot him. And Cable has a gun that looks like a USB jump drive, and he's shooting just a bunch of digital files at Badrock, I guess. Liefeld shoulder tubes, right? Flotation devices. So then there's Namor and Die Hard missing an arm, and they talk and they teleport away. And oh, Battlestone shows up. Oh, thank God. What would we do without Battlestone floating there, shitting lightning? That is without a doubt the coolest gun ever, right? And then they're teleporting away, and then they mention how some other characters are showing up. They mention it. They don't really show it. They mention on the next page over here. It's like Cybrid and Lethal and the others are gathering supreme. So I guess that's supposed to be Cybrid. I'm guessing that's supposed to be Lethal. Those files you're shooting are encrypted. And then over the horizon comes the rip-off Celestial Kirby monsters, and then the Shepherd, who's just Silver Surfer except gold and stupid. He says, "Rejoice, welcome the keep. You now live under the glory of their glorious sovereignty. These are your new masters. Long may they reign." Next issue, the Dominion. I hear Dominion, I'm like, oh, awesome. The bad guys in Star Trek Deep Space Nine, that was fucking awesome. And that's the end of the book. Space Prophet, Todd. This book is so damn sweet, I need to up my insulin dosage, right? You know what? Let me tell you something that sucks. I was online, and somebody was on the Extreme Studios page and had a copy of Last Blood #1 they were selling. And I want a copy of it for my channel. I want to rip into it. And so I paid, I'm not going to tell you how much, but I paid way, way more than I should. And like, that was 2 days ago. And then today, a guy hit me up. He said, "Hey, I saw you were asking about an issue of Last Blood. If you didn't get one, I have one I'll send you for free." I'm like, you fucking asshole. So I just blew. I mean, it's not an unreasonable amount, but it was like way more than the book was is worth. But I paid it. Yeah. So the one thing that's an upside is the book that the guy hit me up today and said he's going to send me is the manga edition where it's the black and white gray tones with the red splatter that looks actually kind of awesome. So he said he's going to send it to me. He actually just lives here in Utah, and we ended up chatting back and forth a little bit. But I'm like, God damn it! If I would have just waited 2 days, maybe. But I'm going to get 2 copies of that book now. The goddamn ad revenue better pay me back. And then I was gonna do a Snake Eyes #5. I mean, I still am, but just not sure which one I want to do first. Guess I can finish up some of the little remaining parts on this. Thanks, Montoya. Thanks for stopping in as always. I really appreciate it. Liefeld really does only have like 6 shots. Well, that's the thing. He does now. Back in the day, he could do different stuff. I will take his New Mutants 100 and X Force issues 1, 2, and 3, 4 over anything he does these days. It's just unbelievable how bad he is. And he thinks he's genius. No, Liefeld's drawing all of this stuff. He was doing Last Blood. He did 2 issues of Last Blood. And now he's working on issues 4 and 5 of his new Youngblood series. And it's all him. He got some other artists to ink some stuff for him, but he's penciling it all. It's all him. So, I mean, I got to give the guy respect. There's so many artists out there that I talk about that I'm like, I'm so frustrated that so many of my favorite artists won't draw comics anymore. And here's Liefeld doing exactly that. So I respect him because he's a guy that wants to draw comics and loves the medium. And that is the kind of guy that I want to be. And that's what I want so many of my favorite artists to be. But the flip side to that bullshit is that fucking Liefeld's art sucks. But have you seen the sales on his books that he's talking about? He's cleaning up. He's on his 3rd printing of Youngblood #1. 3rd printing. And then he's on 2nd printing of #2. I mean, Todd, he would draw the fun stuff. Like I was hit up by one of his former artists from Extreme Studios years ago, and he was telling me like because I was reviewing one of his books, and I said like there was a close up of a shoe that looked amazingly well drawn, and this artist hit me up and he said, just so you know, Liefeld didn't draw that fucking shoe. He drew the big muscly bad rock guy punching, and then he handed it off to another artist to draw the details on the shoe. He's like, so he did have some other artist doing stuff for him, and I can't really fault that because production art, they do that type of stuff. That's when you got a studio and you're cranking out pages, that's stuff that people do. I'm a walking contradiction, probably. They're like the Rippaverse. Yeah, I don't know about the Rippaverse. Oh shit. You'll take those Youngblood comics as inspirational, poor story, and the same shots over and over. Yeah, it's wild. It's how does this happen? But yeah, I just feel like it's just a bunch of fans that were children then and are grown ass adults now and have the money to spend. I don't know if I can agree with that on Frank Miller. That guy's, I mean, I don't know. I can't say for sure, but you see what he used to be able to do and the stuff now, it's just, I feel like he's trolling us. He's like, these guys will buy anything I do. So yeah, I don't know about Miller. Yeah, I get you, Todd. Yeah, people were so sick of the standard shit that Rippaverse had some stuff coming out that people were digging. And again, I if people love it and it's working and it's selling, that's awesome. If they're making books and they're being successful, I would take that level of success any day. You know, we'll see what happens when I fire up my own crowdfunder and see how that goes. But well, we'll see, won't we, Mr. Todd? We'll see if I've earned that from people when the time comes. It is a little nerve wracking to kind of think about how that's going to go. Hopefully, I'll you know, hopefully I'll have built up enough goodwill from people that somebody, I know there will be a couple of them, a couple of people. Yeah, I guess that's fair, Cro Magnon. I just like, it's just so ugly. It's like it just doesn't feel like he's even trying to do an approximation of his what he used to be like. So I don't know. Um, Shotgun. It's a single issue thing that I'm gonna do, and then it's gonna be something like 34 pages of story, and then I'm gonna have some ads for other books that some will exist and some will not, just for fun. There'll be a fake letters page and shit like that. There'll be pinups in the back of the book. Um, so it's not going to be just like a 20-page comic. There's going to be a bunch of stuff in it, but there's at least 30. I can't remember. It's like 34 pages of art. Um, so yeah. Um, so yeah, Sheldon. I mean, I I guess I'll have to like reach out and see if I can get on other shows to promote it because no one's ever. Well, no, I was gonna say no one's ever asked me. There was someone who kind of did. You know, I'll have to try and figure that out if I can. See who and where and what I can kind of get attached to put my stuff out there, like Mitch had done. He was doing a lot of stuff. I feel like Mitch is a much better businessman than I'll ever be. No, I'm waiting on the inks to get done for the book. Shotgun Scream. Um, my inker, he's working on. He's getting close, but we're not gonna like announce the thing until the art. And in fact, my actual goal is to have the book completely done. I was thinking I might want to even have the proof copy. Like when you order books, you can get a single issue sent to you so you can see what it looks like before you order a batch of them. And I kind of want to have the proof copy in hand done to show people that you don't have to wait 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, or maybe never. Like it's done, it's ready to go. I just need to, know who's interested so I can print up appropriate amount of copies and have the money to afford to print it and ship it. So no, there is not a set date yet. Yeah, Eric, there's a Frank Miller pre and post Holy Terror. And that Holy Terror didn't do him any favors. I get what he was doing, but I don't know. I don't know that taking a icon of a major company to talk about your own political and personal beliefs is the right thing to do because he doesn't own Batman and he doesn't get to decide kind of what people get to see the character do. The company doesn't. They got to protect their assets. So, because I know it was originally a Batman story. Yeah, Sheldon. I mean, I'll just have to just reach out. I'm kind of curious of who, what, when would actually be interested or willing. I kind of feel weird to like hit somebody up who's maybe never heard of me and like, hey, can I come on your show and talk about my book? And they might be like, who the fuck are you? That's I guess that's what a little bit of me is like nervous about. and I'll get over it. But yeah, Holy Terror reads really weird as a Batman story. I've never actually got to read it in its entirety. Back when it was out, I got to flip through a copy on a shelf because this local comic store, this gal who ran it, she was actually personal friends with Frank Miller. Like they knew each other. In fact, in one of his Sin City comics, and it's in the movie, he had a hotel named after this girl who owned this comic shop. It was called Mimi's. Like it was like a, I think it was in That Yellow Bastard. There was a hotel with her name on it, and in one of his books, he even shouted her out. He says, "Go buy your comics in Salt Lake City, Utah, at Night Flight Comics." Blah blah blah. But so she had a ton of copies of that book, and she couldn't move them because it was so controversial. So I kind of flipped through it, and I kind of want to get a copy and read it and just kind of see what it's all about and talk about it. And I'm sure I could probably find a copy for not expensive because I got to imagine they're out there. Do it now, Rob. Almost 8K fans can't all be wrong. I mean, I guess you'd think so. Reach out to Comic Book Radio. They have indie creators on all the time. Eric, it's worth an episode. Yeah, I mean, I've wanted to pick up a copy of it for a long time, specifically since I started the channel here, because let's talk about it. Like, because I don't, I'm not really concerned about a person's political motivations. I'm just curious, is the work itself any good? You know, I feel like for the most part, I can separate a person, like their art, from shit about them that may not be something I agree with. I don't know. I'm just curious if it's any good or if it's just hate filled kind of ranting. I don't know. I am curious to pick it up and see. Just don't tell him I'm Amish. My name's brother Hezekiah Munson. Is there any shingling or butter churning need doing? Who knows what movie that's from? Excuse me, I farted. Eric, you thought the art in it was awesome? I remember it looking very Sin City, and that I like. So I am curious. Yeah, Sheldon, you know what that's from. Like you love Polanski's flicks, you're fully aware of his downfall. Yeah, that's kind of me for the most part. I try to think of somebody who I'm so sickened by them personally that it makes me dislike their creative endeavors. I can't think of anybody off the top of my head. I mean, it's like this is low hanging fruit, but everyone would like say like Michael Jackson did all these horrible things to kids, and I'm like, but did he? Like, I don't know. And there's that Dave Chappelle bit. He's like, who knows? Who the fuck knows? God, Mike, and that kid know. But you know what? It doesn't stop me from loving his music. I will still jam out to Billie Jean all the time, um, and be completely fine with it. But did he? You know what? Diddy's one of those guys I've never given a shit about, so I fortunately don't have to give a shit about whether the shit they say about him is true, which it seems like it is. You know who's a celebrity whose downfall actually makes me sad, even though it feels like it's justified? It's fucking Bill Cosby. Like, it seems like all the shit that he did, it was for real. But that guy had like the most popular TV show, and he did a lot of positive things, and he was one of the funniest guys, and he's just an old man rotting away in prison. And it just, I don't know how else to put it except to say it makes me sad that Bill Cosby turned out to be have that much dramatic character flaw, and that's putting it mildly if all the shit he did is true. But that fucking Cosby show was like a ratings juggernaut. I seem to understand. I heard somewhere that somebody said that it would get ratings higher than the Super Bowl on a weekly basis, portraying black families as a very positive thing, you know, as opposed to stereotype. Like, it's great. So he's out of prison. So how long has he been out of prison? Obviously, I don't follow that, and it kind of doesn't change the my kind of feeling on that. Like, he will never be welcome anywhere ever again. And again, maybe that's the correct thing. But goddamn, seemed like such a you know like, of all people, right? It's like hearing that, like, what's that nun, that old lady, anyway, you know what I mean, where there's like people who's just, this is the last person on the planet you'd think would be some disgusting piece of human garbage, and just are. 2021, interesting. So he must just be living quietly somewhere until he dies, right? It's a bummer. Like, do they even play the Cosby Show anymore? Anywhere is like is on reruns. It's like when all that stuff come out about Neil Gaiman being disgusting, and the thing that sucked about that is there were all these creatives that were around him, like, that were making money off the works that they have done previously, and then I guess like DC decided to stop publishing all his works, and so now all the creative people involved don't get residuals off of that work, which was paying them nicely, and that sucks because now these guys have to suffer the consequences of these guys' horrible choices. Doesn't seem to be too hard of a thing to be a decent human being, but my lord, Hollywood's a cesspool, isn't it? We all know that, but yeah, I get that, Cro-Magnon, and I definitely am not one to say that this is what happened because it's kind of like the Michael Jackson thing. I wasn't there. I don't know. One person says it didn't happen, another person said it did. So how do I know? I don't know. I don't want it to be true, but the only thing I know for sure is I'm not going to like point a finger and blame somebody for something I don't know happened. Kind of like the Ed Piskor situation. So many pieces of shit just piled on that, and no one knows what happened. And he denied it strongly. And so it's like, well, why do we only believe the person who made the accusation and not the person who denied it? And there's absolutely no proof that it happened, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, I'm very much on like, if I don't have proof, I don't know. Gaiman's another one of those guys who, like, I don't really have any connection emotionally to anything he's ever done that I give a shit about at all. So I kind of don't care. But I do care about the creatives who lost revenue because of it. That sucks. Thanks, Sheldon. Thanks for stopping in. As always, I really, really appreciate it. Um, as always. Yeah, Cro Magnon, that piss score thing, it pisses me off. It I wish that he could have had the strength to hold on and fight. You know, don't let these assholes win. And he let them win. And that just breaks my heart, you know. For guy to he he had some deals fall through because of it all, but it's like it wasn't the end of everything. It could have just hunker down, wait a minute, and come back fighting. And there's going to be people who will never accept his apology or his side of the story, and you're just going to have to kind of be, well, I can't make everyone love me or believe me, but I'm going to just keep going on because I know what the truth is. But now he's gone. Like I always wanted to send in some of my comics to those guys, but then I kind of chickened out. I'm like, these guys would laugh at my garbage. They wouldn't like anything that I do. You know, like this sucks, dude. Learn to letter by hand. Go make some real comics. I'm like, yes, sir. I'm sorry. I'm making childish junk over here. But I would watch them every day. Yeah, truth doesn't always matter around here. It just matters what they say you did. Yeah. I couldn't believe the shit that I was hearing people say online. And this is right when it first broke. And it's like, well, I mean, I hope this isn't true, but I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens. Because if there's one thing that I've learned in life is anytime I hear some dramatic thing that's everyone's just screaming about, especially in today's modern world where everyone has knee-jerk reactions, the first thing I've learned to do is shut the fuck up and sit back and wait and see what comes out. And so many times, whether it's political or whatever, a story comes out and everyone's just freaking out because of the sensationalistic nature of we got to get the first bit of news out there and then everyone just believes it or it just fits people's narratives of what they want to believe. And so many times it turns out that everything that you were told up front that was never true to start. Or it's just as simple as we don't know the truth because one person said it was this and another person said it was this. And I'm not going to believe somebody I've never met. Like, I'm not going to accuse somebody of something when I've never met them and don't know anything about them just because someone else I've never met says it did. But that cost a man his life. Cro-Magnon, I'm probably not going to agree with you on that one. Although I understand, if you're talking about how Rugg separated himself from the situation by saying that he's ended his professional association, I feel like there was such a landslide of shit going on. Who knows what was going on in terms of, Rugg's career could have been over just by his association with it. I could even imagine a scenario where Rugg was told by Piskor, just disown me, dude. He says, I'm going down. You have to save your own career. Disown me. And I can't imagine being in that position. Um, I'm not I don't have a problem with Rugg at all because I wasn't there. I don't know what he was going through. I got to imagine the guy feels completely awful because his homie is gone and maybe he wishes he could have done more or different or better. And I don't know. I just imagine he probably feels terrible. No, I know. I know what happened. I get it. I understand why. Um, you know, the mob came after him and they killed him. And that's why I'm saying it's just kind of sad that I wish Ed could have just because I get the feeling that Ed's a fighter. Like he would say, Ed suffers no fools. And I'm like, right. This was the time to suffer no fools. You just have to go through something that's unbelievably hard that none of us want to do, which is just sit down and let people scream and say shit about you that is not true. And then plan your comeback and then come back. But he it just wasn't something he could do. Yeah, it just sucks so bad. Which is so, and I use that as another reason. Like I was saying, we were talking about Neil Gaiman. As soon as that come out about him, I was like, I don't particularly, I don't dislike, but I don't like Neil Gaiman. But I don't know that any of that was true. So I'm not going to judge him at all. And people were all over the internet. Fuck that guy. These ladies said he did this. He must have done it. I'm like, you don't know. Were you there? What's with you people that just like somebody says, especially when it's a woman, says, this happened. Like, well, okay, maybe it did. Is there any proof? If not, I I can't join you because I don't know. It's not my place to side against a guy when I don't know the reality. Definitely should not have lost him. Like I've even tried to go back and watch some of their old reviews, and it's kind of hard. Like just knowing what happened. Yeah, mob mentality increased 1,000 times, and yeah, and believe all women. I know. It's like no, I don't. I don't believe anybody just because they said a thing happened. And that's specific. Like I know some women personally. If they came to me and said a thing happened, I believe them because I know them. But I don't know any of these people that made any of these accusations. So why would I believe them? I'm not going to believe them just because they're female. That's not how this works. That's an, for lack of a better term, it's an evil philosophy that tries and convicts potentially innocent people without due process. So believe? No, I don't. I don't have an opinion because I don't know, because I wasn't there. You're perpetuating rape culture. No, I'm not. Innocent until proven guilty. Well, thanks. I like that I'm able to say it. This might sound dumb, but it's like I didn't start my channel after Ed was gone, and then therefore anybody could kind of accuse me of you're trying to just pick up the slack now that someone's gone. Not that anyone has, but there's a little part of me that wonders if people would think that. Like, I started my channel while they were still going strong. And so I was kind of doing this anyway. And I've had a few people say, I come here now as one of the places that they go to fill the gap that the absence of kayfabe has left. And that makes me feel honored. And, I appreciate that from anybody. That's awesome. I'm not a fraction as awesome as they were by any, they're working professionals and they've got knowledge and all kinds of, you know, um, they're just so smart about the industry and everything. And I'm just some chucklehead fan like any of the rest of us just sitting around. I just created a channel and started talking. Um, I don't know anything, so it's just my own dumb opinion. But they were like working professionals that would talk about stuff, and like we respected their opinion, and it was awesome. Damification. This is just something just for fun. These are my brother's characters. He doesn't know I'm doing this. I'm kind of having a, for lack of a better term, kind of a rough moment with all the members of my family, and I'm kind of not talking to any of them right now, including my brother. Um, so he doesn't know I'm doing this unless he watches my channel. He's just chosen to not say anything about it. But it's his characters that might could be used for his book later on. So I'm just drawing my brother's characters because I wanted something to draw. Yeah, I mean, the thing with my brother, it'll resolve itself. It'll be fine. Um, and he still does content, but he tried to follow my pattern and do daily shit. And he's just not in a place in his life where he can do daily shit because he's now the sole financial breadwinner of his household. So he's got to support his wife and his kid. And there's just not enough time in the day for him to dedicate to doing daily content. So he squeezes it in when he can. Todd, you don't have any characters that I'm aware of. But yes, I do still talk to you. Maybe I need to reevaluate that. It kind of sucks to like kind of be on the outs with all the major members of my family. This is going to be about 2 years straight since I've gone to any family function. They all get together for birthdays and Thanksgiving and Christmas, and they keep asking, "Are you coming?" And I said, "Nope, I'm sure not." Maybe I need to quit being such a jack off and capitulate myself. How's my liking for European comics? I honestly don't know any. I mean, I am aware of like Judge Dredd, right? Um, my channel is essentially just stuff that I got when I was a kid for the most part, or as a young adult, just shit that I bought. When I was younger, I lived in a small town. I didn't have access to finding European comics when all I could get them was off a spinner rack at the local drugstore. So I wasn't going to find a lot of weird shit. So I just have a lot of mainstream crap. And then not being financially well off for large chunks of my life kept me from just splurging on all kinds of insanity. I've seen some collectors, comic collectors that are just, I feel like I'm buried under comics and I see how much stuff other people have. I'm like, holy shit, how do you guys know about this stuff? How can you afford this? Like there's just mountains and mountains of comics of all kinds and types. I'm like, good Lord. Whew, it's too much stuff. Of course, I'm aware of Mobius for sure. I don't have a single comic that he's ever drawn, and that's not good. I need to find something. I've seen his work, and I like what I've seen. Like I get it. I think that the Kirby Silver Surfer is the only real Silver Surfer, and the Mobius Silver Surfer was shit. What movie's that from? Anybody who reads comics knows that the Kirby Silver Surfer is the only true Silver Surfer. Now, am I right? Yes, sir. But yeah, I don't have any Mobius anything. That's something that I'd like to think eventually I'll be able to rectify, but as of right now, no. That's the thing about comics is like there can always be somebody who did the best, but there's also lots of room for other people to do awesome interpretations, and they're all cool. I don't think I've ever seen a Mobius version of Surfer, so I can't have an opinion on it. I think I've seen like a pinup, like a giant Galactus head, and then Surfer kind of floating nearby, or all tiny. It's pretty awesome. Oh, God, these weekends go by way too fast. Hey, you know what I got coming up on tomorrow's video? You have to have an actual account on YouTube, which all of you should, because you won't be able to watch it otherwise. It's age restricted. It's Alan Moore's Lost Girls, the pornography book. Todd, you're out of here? You, Mister, stay up until freaking 4 in the morning? It's unlike you. I'm actually gonna shut it down here real quick myself. I'm kind of done here. But yeah, tomorrow Lost Girls by Alan Moore with What Little I Can Show, and it still got demonetized and age restricted. Oh, you gotta go wrap presents. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that here soon too. Yeah, I think I'm done here. All right, well, that's as good a place as any to wrap it up. So, thanks everybody. It's always fun. I appreciate it very, very much from every one of you. You're all a bunch of good folk. Don't let anyone ever tell you otherwise. So see you later, Todd. Damification, you thanks. Crow Magni, yeah, thanks for the conversation, man. As always, I appreciate it very much. Thank you, sir. So I'll catch y'all next time.